So we're going to look at number 20, which is where our biconditionals begin. And it says, write the converse of each statement. If the converse is true, write the biconditional statement. Well, a biconditional is basically a statement where both the original and the converse are true, and it's a statement that has mutually exclusive conditions. So a biconditional we use with the words if and only if. So again, we're going to talk about biconditionals. That means it can be said if and only if. If and only if. So, for example, number 20 says, if an angle measures less than 90, so here's your hypothesis, then it is an acute angle. So there's your conclusion. So I'm going to write the converse here. I'm going to switch the hypothesis and conclusion around. And when I do that, I'm going to end up with the following. I'm going to end up with, the converse is going to be, if it is an acute angle, then it measures less than 90. So before we decide if we're going to do a biconditional, we need to establish the truth of the original and the converse. So the original says if an angle is less than 90, then it's acute. That's true. The converse says if it is an acute angle, then it measures less than 90. That's true, which means we can now write a biconditional. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop the if and then. So if it is an acute angle, then it measures less than 90. We're going to make it an if and only if. So we're going to say, we're going to go back to the original. An angle measures 90 if and only if and only if it is an acute angle. So if it is an acute angle, then it measures less than 90. If an angle that measures less than 90, then it is an acute angle. They're both true, which means I can write the biconditional. An angle measures 90 degrees if and only if it is an acute angle. Now, not all situations are we going to be able to write a biconditional, okay? So, let's look at and establish the truth of the converse, let's say for number 22. Number 22 says, if an animal is a panther, then it lives in the forest. Okay, so that's your original statement. So let's write the converse. So the converse would be, if an animal, or you could say if an animal lives in the forest, then it is a panther. So we have to establish the truth value. Now this is kind of vague. We're assuming that all these original statements are true. We're going to go ahead and say it's true, even though just because it's a panther doesn't necessarily mean it lives in the forest, but that's generally their habitat. So let's look at the converse. If an animal lives in a forest, then it is a panther. That's false. Just because it lives in the forest doesn't mean it's a panther. It could be anything else. It could be monkeys. It could be all kinds of things. Anything that lives, a forest animal, qualifies here. So if an animal lives in the forest doesn't necessarily mean it is a panther, which means that we don't have a biconditional for this one, because this is not one we can write as a biconditional. It's not true, both the original and the converse. So that's how you do biconditionals.